We on? No, we're on, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Risk management has very little in the change to our standard operating budget. We only have one increase, which is about $5,000 for supporting the new AEDs that we anticipate rolling into our current number. Right now we have 26 in the courthouse. We made the presentation to Commissioner's Court to upgrade to get the number to 42. That'll take in the coastal parks region and precinct 4. And so we'll have 42 to maintain, so the cost would go up accordingly. So for the annual maintenance for those, so that's our only change to the amount of money we're asking for operating budget for the things we do on an annual basis.
Lance, do these things have a life cycle?
Yes, sir. The problem with the ones we have in the courthouse now is Cardiac Science came out with a more modern called the G5. We have the G3, and so they're no longer supporting them. So you can't get the parts once they're used, once the pads have to be replaced every 2 years, the batteries every year. So at a point, they reach where they're no longer viable and you can't get the parts for them, just like an older car.
Oh, my God. Like the computer and everything else.
Yes, sir. So
built-in obsolescence.
I believe our AEDs are about 12 years old, and they are no longer supported. So that was why we came forth with the concept and negotiated the deal with School Science to the Buy Board, the whole TAC reimbursement request. So, but we will have next year 42 to maintain instead of 26. Or we get in the situation we're in really right now, which is the ones in coastal parks, the ones that have been put out there are not being supported properly, and several of them are inoperative.
Okay.
So if they fall under my purview, we can have them under the contract for maintenance. I mean, what we don't want to happen is we need an AED and it doesn't work or it's not there, because that's a whole lot bigger issue to deal with than X number of dollars per AED a year. So.
Okay.
And the only other request I have, again, as I'm here, is looking for somebody in the office as an assistant. Now, Judge, you've been here. You know how much Martha does, but more importantly, you know the wealth of knowledge she has there. One of the reasons that risk management has been, I think, more successful than it has in the past is I am out in the field. You know, I go out, I do the building evaluations, I do the site surveys. We've been teaching defensive driving. We got our first policy discount for our auto policy, and as long as I can see, back for actually having less than the average as far as losses. So our policy renewal went down 10% in June here when we renewed it. So we are doing a lot of good things. Our losses in workers' comp right now from 2012 to current are still less than the horrible year of 2011, and that's all the years combined, still have not eclipsed 2011. For auto losses, we've just about hit in those 4.5 years what we lost in 2011 alone. So what we're doing, I believe, is working. The two problems I have now is I'm getting additional responsibilities, doing more and more out, and leaves me less time in the office, which is good. I'd rather be proactive than reactive to safety concerns and issues. But you all know Martha's been having some health issues, and she is getting to the point where she'll probably be retiring soon. She is replaceable as a body, yes, but her wealth of knowledge, her corporate knowledge, the things she knows that I would like to be passed on to somebody in the office is crucial. Even if we get a person in there for a year and then she retires, at least that assistant or that person in the office has garnered some of that knowledge that she has. I can't be in the office and out in the field. You know, risk management couldn't operate on one person if I lost Martha. So I'm looking at getting a third person there. They don't even have to be a senior clerk. I just looked for a position to fill the hole. Somebody in there that I can start training up to assume her position. Because what I really feel is going to happen if we lose Martha unexpectedly, not only do we tie up myself being stuck in the office handling the claims and the issues and not able to be proactive and out in the field and do all the fun projects you have me doing, like, you know, evaluating buildings and doing site surveys. But more importantly, we lose that wealth of knowledge that hasn't been passed on. And so we're looking for somebody we can train in the office. It could be a junior clerk position. Just get somebody in there that is interested in learning about this and can pick up obviously through the application process, we can find somebody that's got a desire to learn workers' compensation and insurance and work in the office, but more importantly, learn what Martha can pass on to them. Most risk management departments run about one person per 400 employees. We're running about one person in our office for 650. Counties comparable our size, and I've presented this before and discussed with TAC, usually a county our size has 4 in the risk management department. And again, if we have a major catastrophe where we have to handle 70, 80, 100 claims to vehicles and buildings, it's going to be quite a while to get through all that. And Montgomery County alone has 7, and 2 of their personnel are dedicated to claims only. So I'm just asking for one low to mid-level person to start passing Martha's knowledge, start filling that person, and getting them up to speed in the department.
So is this the 1901 senior administration clerk that you're talking about?
Yes, Commissioner. Somebody at that level, or I could even go with a junior clerk. I just kind of picked a placeholder about in the middle of where it would be. And it just takes one really one bad workers' comp, where we have a fatality, where we have a collision where one of our drivers kills or severely injures somebody in the public, where we exceed our policy limits, where we have one workers' comp claim that's huge. Judge, I think you remember when the workers' comp policy was over $1 million a year. Now we're under $400,000. We have to pay for our insurance. That's one of my training points is, if you have a collision or if you get a ticket or you get something like that where your policy goes up, you can't go to your boss and say, hey, I need an extra $100 a month to pay my insurance bill because I had a collision. Well, we're going to have to pay the bills in the county if our workers' comp premium, skyrockets because of, 2 or 3 injuries in a row that suddenly send us over the edge. So I feel that we are doing the right thing with myself being out in the field. Again, that being said, I need somebody in there to pick up Martha's corporate knowledge and help in the office with the additional programs and things that we're running now out of risk management. We're even looking at, like I said, this summer we're expanding, so we're actually going to have a working CPR training program that we're going to be doing. And I'm going to have a few more cadre of trainers. I have the funds to get the dummies now, and I've even got a place to locate everything, which is a closet outside Danielle's office there. So I've already cleared that with Annette. So we're going to have a flyaway pack so we can actually have our trainer come in, pick up the dummies, go to the location they want to do the CPR training for the county, wherever it will be, do that training, and then bring the flyaway kit back. So I think it's important. We have AEDs all over the county, but very few people know how to use them, and I don't think we have as many CPR-trained personnel as we'd like. I know it's a requirement for juvenile based on their requirements from the state, but not every location has. Is anybody in here, class example, is anybody in here currently CPR qualified? So we have one on my floor. You're probably the only one in your floor in your office. So.
But I did the Heimlich recently and saved somebody. So just.
Well, there we go.
Good. I did.
Did you really?
I did.
Where?
At my son's school, same little girl did the Heimlich.
That's good. Congratulations.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Commissioner?
Lance, thank you. You guys have done a great job.
Okay.
And it's reflected in our record and everything else we're doing. And I understand what you're saying and certainly understand the importance of what you do. And we've come a long way since you've been here. We appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Judge.
And it's a good department. And Martha does a great job and you do a great job. And we'll certainly look at this as we see where we are.
Yes, sir. I understand. I just want to make, again,
I got your point.
You got your drift, man.
I promise you it wouldn't be 45 minutes.
No, but you did a good job in 30.
30, I think more like 10.
I'm teasing.
That's Aggie time, buddy. That's Aggie time.
No, seriously. Anybody had any other questions for Lance? Anybody? How's Martha doing now? Is she okay?
Well, to be honest, she's a little shaken from the bomb issue because she went down the stairs and it kind of aggravated some old injuries. So Terrence is bringing her in a wheelchair. So she's got a couple appointments this week. So I see her not making it to be, to retire in the next year to 2 years.
Well, we just wish her the very best and keep her healthy. Good shape.
Do what I can, Judge.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, Lance, we appreciate it. Thank you
Thank you,
very much.
Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very good. Our next one is tax assessor, and I'm assuming he'll be walking in here pretty quickly. Well, it's 15 minutes. Let's see what we do. Yeah. What happened? Anybody in there died? No. They had a wreck sort of harbor. Very good. Well, good morning. Yep. Okay. I've got a quorum, but we'll wait just a second. And Chesney and how you doing? Good. I noticed in the paper auto sales. Yeah.
I figure out a way to make a living there at least. But I can't figure out how to make a living there. Mally. Yeah, 20th wedding anniversary. And our maid of honor got married at the same time. So our maid of honor got married. Yeah, it was Jack Fulcher's sister. Yeah, she was his youngest sister and my wife.
Okay. Good morning, Kevin. You're on. Thank you.
All right. Before I kind of get into the budget,
Is the mic on, please?
here we go. Before I get into the budget, this all has to do with the budget, but I have really been trying to go through our income generated through our department to try to justify what we're trying to do in our budget. And the reports that we've been giving you, we've been monitoring the motor vehicle income for the, every single month to try to watch for these dips and that we anticipated, and we just have not really seen those dips, as you well know. But we were missing some. I was trying to figure out where the other portion of our income was coming in, and we finally got our notice from the state comptroller, and so I've got that information. The state comptroller just remitted $3.2 million to us for sales, just the sales tax portion of of the income we get, and they do that every year. And we pull that money from the sales tax that we generate each month, and they basically tell us to retain that amount, and that's the amount that we retain. And so this particular year for 2015, we got on April the 8th, we got $3.2 million and some change.
Had it, they just allowed you to release it?
Well, yeah, we retain it, and because we turn over anywhere from $5 to $7 million a month to the state.
And then they tell you to retain a portion of that?
Yes, on an annual basis. They send us this letter from the comptroller's office giving us the amount of to retain, and then whatever is above and beyond that, we send that on. So the monthly reports that we've been turning over, that Judge and I have been talking about, that is separate from the sales tax. That's the fees that we get from Texas Department of Motor Vehicles. Those are the fees that they pay us for running their portion of transactions, the title, registration, and a whole bunch of fees. And of course, we also get the road and bridge. So our department this past year has generated $6.4 million.
What did y'all generate last year?
It was about 6.5.
So off a little bit on
Off a little bit, but not a huge chunk.
Okay.
We've seen some dips and valleys, and January is one of the things we've noticed is January seems to be the month that we've seen the biggest drop, and I really attribute that's where really we've seen the loss in the fleet numbers coming through, because most of the fleets are renewing sometime between January and March. And also the total dollar of the vehicles, per transaction has dropped a little bit, so we're seeing some fluctuations there, but we're not running anywhere near the near the red like I was afraid of, because I wasn't taking in consideration the tax that we get once per year, and I kept scratching my head. I know we're getting money from somewhere else. Where the heck is it coming from? here it is. So it's about half of it. So our department is bringing in about $6.4 million, and our budget is somewhere in the vicinity of about 3.1.
Kevin, at the conference we were in a couple of weeks ago for county judges and commissioners, there was some discussion about the state of Texas was going to vote to take more of that money away from y'all. Is that
They
right?
have, and they voted yesterday. I was in, not yesterday, on Monday. I was at TXDMV on Monday, giving my quick 3-minute testimony at their board meeting, but they went ahead and moved with that. The projection is that we're going to lose about $370,000 out of that.
Can we stop that?
It's they're plowing ahead with it now. The Chairman Pickett, who has authored the bills, has stated more or less that TXDMV went beyond what his intentions of the bill were, and he's actually, we were talking about doing the AG opinion, but he's actually going to file an AG opinion on this portion of the online motor vehicle registration portion that they're wanting to reduce our fees and so forth, and that's really where the majority of our money loss is coming from in this breakdown. I've provided the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles some information as far as what I thought we need to make that number whole. They increased it a quarter. We really need to see it about another 85 cents to $1. But, it's going to be what it's going to be. But I was relieved with what we're seeing from the sales tax revenue from the state comptroller's office, that it's just going to be that much less that we're going to have over a 10-year period, or a 5-year period, excuse me. And that's assuming, those numbers are also assuming that we see a pretty significant jump in our online motor vehicle registration, which wouldn't be a bad thing because hopefully that gets our lines down. So one of the things I did get out of this whole deal, though, is the TXDMV. I mentioned I always offer a solution when I'm going to complain about something. I told them, one of the things we could do is if you guys would come up with some kiosks, because a lot of people want to have that registration sticker in hand, because when they come stand in our lines, because they're late, they need it now. They don't need it yesterday. And so what they're planning on doing, they might actually use Nueces County as their IT person was really excited. And Nueces County may wind up being a test market for kiosks for TXDMV. So that might be a plus to hopefully help us with our lines down the road, but I don't know how long that's going to be.
But bottom line is, lose almost $400,000 in revenue.
We're going to lose about $400,000 in revenue, but we're still, as of right now, so if that were to happen, we'd generate $6.1 million. It's a 6.4. But, my budget's 3.1. And
But
so,
I guess the question is, if we're going to lose that 400, then Dale and I are going to have to take that into consideration
Yeah.
if it's this next coming year.
well, it's going to be over a period of time. It's projected based off of they're projecting an increase in online motor vehicle registrations, because one of the things that they're doing they're standardizing the fees so that people aren't going to have to pay more to renew their vehicles online. We all know it's cheaper to do it online, even though there's some hard costs associated with online. There's hard costs associated with when people stand in the line, and that's called people. And so, if we can get those lines down, it'll help. But as you all know, and I'm sure you all have seen, our lines have not gotten much shorter. We still continue to see growth. I've showed the number. We've been running just kind of. We get $10 a pop off the road and bridge fees, and so you can kind of do some extrapolations off our volumes based off of just looking at road and bridge fee, and you can see that we've been running around 290,000. We're right around 296,000 vehicles in 2015, and 2013-14, which was the high year, was about 301,000 vehicles. And so those numbers have gone up from around 266,000 just about 5 years ago. And so it's no surprise that the lines are going to get longer. You can't service 40,000 more people and expect your lines to get any shorter. And so that's really the lead-in I've gotten to the justification for requesting additional employees that we're wanting to do. We're looking for.
Before you leave there,
Sure.
will you be able to give Dale and I estimate what you're seeing is for next year?
Yeah, I think the difference next year is about $30,000 or so.
And what do we need to do also to,
And it all
Have
depends
to
on when
be-
they implement this, because they're not going to implement this right away. I'm sorry to cut you off,
Right.
but the $376,000 deduction is based off of, it doesn't take your sales tax into consideration, and it's just the fees, because we're going to get less for the online motor vehicle transactions. We're only going to get 50 cents instead of $1.90. And that's the difference that we're going to get. So you're looking at about $1.10 difference for the renewals. So they're anticipating that those renewals over next 5-year period are going to bump up, and that's how we're coming up with that around that $376,000 figure.
so what do we need to do as a county to help Chairman Pickett fight that? And, I mean, I get that he's getting his AG opinion, but if the opinion doesn't come back the way he wants it to, then he's going to have to do something to the bill in the session, or not, depending on what he determines he wants to do with it. So is there something we can do? Do we need to pass a resolution? Do we need to?
It probably wouldn't hurt to pass a resolution. I know Judge Neal gave one personally, because we ran out of time, because it
Right.
was such a short period of time that we had from the time we finally had the numbers to the time we had the close of the public comment period. I didn't want to put public comment out without really being able to crunch our numbers and have good solid numbers to turn in. So we continue to fight it. What I'm really not personally against the online registration thing that the TXDMV is doing. I just have an issue with the funding.
Well, sure.
Because while the online is the easiest thing out there right now, and they're not giving us $376,000 worth of relief in work. I have one employee that does online registrations, or really maybe we have one that processes it and a couple that stuff the envelopes and send it out. We do about 3,000 to 3,500 online registration renewals per month. So it's
How many per month?
about 3,000. So it varies with various months, but it's anywhere from 3 to 3,500 depending on when it is.
So we need to put something on our agenda to, when we were at that convention or seminar, while I was awake, because it was so titillating, they did tell us to contact our legislators, and I did send an email right then. Actually, Todd was there when they were telling us to contact our legislators, so I sent an email and said, Todd, this is your
Todd, I'm
contact.
contacting you.
But I haven't
So-
contacted Abel yet, or Senator Hinojosa yet, and we need to
I've
get
been
them
in contact
involved,
with
too.
all three,
Okay,
with
good.
Senator Hinojosa, Abel Herrero, and Todd Hunter. I've kept them all in the loop on what's going on, and they're abreast of it. Abel was going to send the AG opinion, but I think since the chairman of the Transportation Committee is requesting an AG opinion, we're just going to kind of back off and hold off on that.
And they may back
let
off
that
if
go
the
through.
AG opinion comes back, favorable, so
Right.
they might, but who knows?
And we're also going to file some other legislation probably this session that I'm going to be working on. So you'll see in my travel request it's up about $2,000, and that's going to be for me to go back and forth to Austin a lot more. Because it looks like this fall, besides property tax, you're going to be dealing with motor vehicle a lot. And so, this spring. So,
Well, thanks for keeping us posted, because I appreciate, I wouldn't
Sure.
have known about it had you not, sent
well,
something there.
well, and it's all unfortunately tied directly into our budget. And it's it's income for the county, and I know it goes into our general fund, and I'm trying to make sure we're retaining as much of that as possible.
Just another unfunded mandate.
It is. That's exactly what it is. And coming back
It's the
from
legislature.
DMV, they're telling us, well, you just need to be more efficient. I'm going, well, more efficient means we're going to save the taxpayers $1. Well,
Did you tell them they need to be more efficient?
yeah.
Yeah, right, that didn't work,
Yeah,
okay.
no. So,
Hey, Kevin, on your request for the temporaries, 21,000 or $20,464. So that's primarily to help you with the long lines you have at certain times of the year.
well, this
Got
year
some
especially was
installation.
most of this is voter registration side, and it's also on the property tax side. When they came back and said we can only use temporaries for 29 hours a week, that kills us, and we tend to not retain them. And so, because we can't seem to retain them during our peak of the year, we have to get more on board and get them trained because we lose them. They come out, and that's thanks to Obamacare requirements and us not being able to let them work 40 hours.
You had talked about one way of alleviating some of that was to open up a satellite office somewhere on the south side, Flower Bluff, somewhere in that area. Have you, are you still thinking about that? Or?
I am. If you look at, if we jump over to our request for additional employees, bottom line, we've got to have some more employees, and whether we put them in a satellite office or whether we put them in here in the courthouse, we've got to do something with these lines. The request I have is assuming we can open up an office somewhere south side of Flower Bluff. I did look at numerous locations during this past spring, and I thought we had a really great idea of the old Clayburg Bank locations in the HEBs. It, in theory, is a great idea, and it's already ready to go. HEB wants an arm and a leg for those places, though. They want $60,000 a year. And I'm going, I don't think so. They're crazy for 600 square feet. I'm going, I'm going, never mind. No wonder Clayburg moved out of those things. I mean, $60,000 a piece. And I can't even justify.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And I wouldn't even come up here and ask you guys for that kind of.
So we have a JP and.
There's no room over there
Constable
in
office?
Flower Bluff. I went and looked in that facility. It would be.
You can't get anybody.
You can't get anybody in there, and that office is going to be extremely busy. That office would probably run. My guesstimate, based off of population out there, it would probably run 2 times the volume of Robstown and Bishop combined.
Really?
And so you've got to have somewhere. One of the places I have looked, but I haven't really dug into it too deep, was the A&M Corpus Christi Business Center. They were somewhat receptive. I just haven't really looked at their location too much because I kind of want to get some direction from you guys before I start digging into that too much. Trying to find places where there's adequate parking. We don't want to have a parking issue. There's no parking at the JP office. They're already full. So it just depends on kind of what your temperature is on this. If we don't go with an additional satellite office, which I do think we need, then I don't need the 4 employees, I just need the 3. Because if we open a satellite office, I need a supervisor down there, and part of that request. So right now, as you know, we don't always get to open Windows 7 because we've been killed with FMLA this year and sicknesses and so forth, and I'm never fully staffed down there. And so with those extra employees, we could actually get those windows at least open.
So does the satellite office actually, save you revenue, or is it going to be just a convenience for customers?
It's a convenience for customer. It gets people out of the courthouse.
It's going to be more expensive no matter what we do.
No matter what we do.
Okay.
Because I don't have the figures in there. I don't have any figures in here for the expense of a satellite office. I have some figures for some potential expense for build out, and that's just a wild guess because we don't know where we're going to go. But it will help alleviate some of your parking issues here. Because most, besides jury, a lot of your parking is people coming here.
So in Robstown, we're using the Calderon building, which we own.
That's correct.
And then in Bishop, what do we use?
Bishop, we're using, what's the name of the building over there?
Bishop County
The
Building.
Bishop, there's
Where
a
the
county
library
building.
is.
Where the library
So we
is.
own that building too.
Yeah, that's not costing us anything.
Building over there that we own.
Yeah, and I can't find one that we fit in. So if any of you guys know some other building somewhere that we can fit in, that would be great.
Build one instead of renting one.
But so really for the time being, I would just kind of forego the whole issue of doing a satellite office and actually just request the 3 extra employees for this year, so we can at least get these windows open.
But those are the ones you're talking about part-time, the ones that are part-time?
No, these are full time.
These are full-time?
Yeah, there's a request for 3 and a supervisor. I don't need the supervisor if we don't open up a satellite office.
Those.
But we've got to get these lines down. It's just not acceptable for people to have to wait 45 minutes or an hour or more.
No, you're right. There are a lot of unhappy people standing in that line down there when it stretches clear out to
Yeah,
the street.
yeah, and we just got to figure out a way to move them. I'm hoping.
I quit walking by there and saying good morning because I didn't want to hear.
Yeah.
All the complaints.
I didn't want to hear about why am I standing in line out the
And the other thing is,
I go out the other door when I see that.
I have.
Sorry, I'm not.
No, you're, and I agree. I know,
It's
and,
bad.
and it's bad. And, we touch every single person who owns a car in Oasis County in that office. Every single car you see driving that's a resident here, we touch them.
And are the Bishop and Robstown ones open full-time?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're open 5 days a week.
And so I guess there's no way to do it any other way but full-time?
Yeah, because
People
you've
don't
got
get
money
used-
sitting around, you've got transactions that have to be processed within a certain amount of time. If you're open, you're open. If the onesie twosie isn't going to work. Another issue I've got also when you look at temporaries and so forth, we've got coming up is Barbara in Port Aransas is going to retire this year.
Oh, really?
I don't know what I'm going to do there.
Me either.
Um,
She's kind of a legend over there.
Not only is she a legend, but it also takes somebody who's fully, because it's a one-person shop, it takes somebody who is fully trained on both motor vehicle and property tax. And so that means I'm going to have to pull somebody else out of property tax and somebody who's cross-trained in motor vehicle.
How much traffic do you get over there?
It's pretty close to, not enough to put two people out there. It's about the same it's a little bit more than Bishop. but it's pretty close.
But it's justified.
It's justified.
And having those for those offices, I mean, for those parts of our community that are so far out there, I think that's a good thing. I mean,
Right.
I do, because that's hard for them to get in. And Kevin and I've talked about this Flower Bluff and Island thing because I've had repeated people ask me about it, and so I always go to Kevin and say, well, that's Kevin's job. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But there's got to be something out there. I mean, the other thing, I guess, and I was just sitting there trying to think, but I can't think of any. Maybe there's a city building that we haven't thought of in one of those areas that we could.
I'm going to continue looking.
Yeah,
probably over the
gotta
next
be
year
something
and
out
find something, whether it be on the south side of Flower Bluff. That's really where we need an office because we don't have anything in Corpus Christi other than this,
Right.
the courthouse. That's it. We cover.
I think it's a really good idea if we can find a place that we can get for a reasonable amount of money, but obviously $60,000 a year is not.
I wouldn't even bring that to you guys. That's ridiculous.
Where was that one?
HEB.
HEBs.
Build a building.
HEB had a bunch of Clayburg Bank locations in them, and they pulled out. I'm sure part of the reason was they charged them an arm and a leg for the space.
There's no inner spaces in that HEB.
That was it. And the thing that was cool about I set those things up because I opened up the one in I was there when we opened up the Alameda and Flower Bluff location, and
It's your fault.
yeah.
Yeah.
and so I knew the setup. The setup's perfect. It's a small space, but it's a very efficient layout. But it's not efficient when you look at the cost per square foot. Is ridiculous.
No, when it sits there for a couple of years, they might come back calling you.
Yeah, so they know we're interested. So I've put a call out, and if they can get more reasonable, then if
There
it stays
are
empty
some
for a while.
city buildings out there around the fire station, around Ethel Early and right in there. And I have no idea how much room, if any, they have there, but it might be worth exploring with the city. So-
There's one building over there which Health Department is sharing with the
Yeah.
city police over there.
We don't have any land over there? Any piece of
Flower
land?
Bluff.
We
Do
don't have
what?
any land over there? We don't have a piece of land over there?
We don't, the county doesn't have any land.
I guess
The only other place I can think of would be the county.
that good old
the-
Hill property.
Pottery Island would be the beach, but that's just too far away from really where the center of the population is.
Thanks,
Oh, yeah.
Brent, that's
Yeah.
right.
Brent's got this really nice office at the Bob Hall Pier.
Yeah, that's
I've seen it. That's actually kind of what I was alluding to, but it's just too far away from really our population center to justify taking it as office. So.
Load that place up.
People might want to go out there.
Hey, we can find you a spot at the bottom of Michael
Hell, I may
Mays.
put my office out there. I'll just sit out there with my kayak, so wouldn't get anything done.
Yeah, I mean, you can try that Michael Mays area. That might be some, space.
Well, if it wouldn't be too far, we do have that old visitors,
We
Right
had
there as you come on the island.
but it's on the island, so it's too far away.
which one?
As you
by your
come
maintenance
across the
building,
causeway,
we
right
own
there
the-
on the left.
And we also have, and I know it's far, I get that it's far, but I mean, that Briscoe King Pavilion's over there too. And I know it is far, but for the people on the island and the bluff, it would still be way better. I know, but I mean, I know it's not ideal, but it would be way better than coming in here.
Yeah, but it's
just-
awfully,
Causeway.
I would
It's
probably
isolated.
have, if we did that, then I would probably close Port Aransas and consolidate into Briscoe King.
You wouldn't have
You wouldn't have to do that. I mean,
Well-
that's a whole different world. That's up to you, but
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just looking at the transaction numbers, and I know that a lot of people from Flower Bluff actually do go to Port Aransas versus come down here. So, it's
just throwing it out there. Your call.
yeah, and so I would, it's just a matter of staffing, and
And Kevin, excuse me, but in addition to those three positions, you say you're still looking for those part times doing those?
I need the temporaries regardless. Temporaries because the temporaries don't really work much in motor vehicle. We put some down there occasionally just to do some, but it takes about 6 months to get somebody trained on motor vehicle before they're really halfway productive. And it doesn't.
Part-time?
And so those temporaries are the ones we use during the peak property tax season to work the back office, taking the mail, process those sort of things. So those really mundane things. And as soon as property tax is over, we let them go. But we're a little short this year, and we need actually more than because we lose them. I mean, a lot of times, temporaries, they don't last very long because, if they find a permanent job, they're going to take it, and can't blame them.
Actually, all you need is 4. You don't need 8, right?
No, I need the 8.
Well, if you look at the timing, you only need 4.
Yeah, but those are part-times.
But they overlap a couple of months is what.
Yeah, and there's overlapping in there. And then the other side of that is for
Tax.
the elections.
Yeah, okay.
And, if we don't need them, we don't use them.
No, I understand. You
You
don't
know-
abuse the system, and I'm not accusing
Yeah,
you.
we're not gonna sit there and stuff our system when we don't need them. But one of the biggest problems I've got is the other issue is I've got 2 known FMLA during the peak of property tax season. I have 2 employees we're going to lose in December.
How about these security cameras?
We've got to have them. There's upgrades we need, and we don't have any security cameras upstairs. And that's part of that. And then has something I wish Billman's a little more up to date, I think, on the security camera issue. No? Yes? You want to come up? I've been sleeping a few weeks since I came back, so.
The only issue, good morning, Commissioners and Judge.
Morning.
The only issue with the security cameras at this point is that the one we currently have in motor vehicle is dated, and they keep going out, and they're very, very useful for us. And then we also need the cameras for our remote sites, our satellite offices, and then also in property tax in our accounting department.
Is 30,000 for all of them? Is that
That's for the upgrade for motor vehicle, additional new cameras for the property tax department and accounting.
Steve, can
and
we
the
get
satellite
those
offices.
now?
Teresa and I are looking at those balances right now. We may be able to.
If we can get
Sure,
those,
we
we
have-
ought to go ahead and get them done.
Where are you getting the cameras from?
Mark.
Well,
Not our last vendor.
Well, not the last guy, because he was the one that, obviously, we found out in the middle of the installation, he wasn't licensed. Remember, DPS came in and arrested him. I don't know if you recall that.
I've met a couple of guys that real good prices at the library,
Well,
so.
Yeah, we'll probably just defer that to you guys if there's somebody that's already been
Well,
doing
for
the work.
30,000, we'll go through the purchase process and
Yeah.
make sure we got everything. This
Yeah.
isn't the
We went through Elsa. I mean, we
I'll give you
let
their
her
names, you
figure
can
that out.
call them, you want them to deal with purchasing.
If we could, Steve, you and I ought to look at that and see, we ought to do that in this year's budget if we can and get that done.
We have not put it in next year's budget? Is that
what
you're saying?
Yeah, put it in this year's budget. We'll work with you on
Okay.
that.
But really, I guess,
The ADA queuing system, Wednesday, we're going to have a long discussion on where we are with ADA.
now, part of the reason for the queuing system also is I have talked to the architects about our redesign downstairs, and the queuing system can really direct, it'll improve our efficiencies tremendously, because we can adjust in the queuing system where the lines are going without having to differentiate, hey, you stand in this line, hey, you stand in that line. They come in, sign in, and then the queuing system will direct them to the window that's doing the renewals, registrations. It'll direct them to the people who are doing the title onlys and those sort of things, and even our handicap placards. So we don't have to sit there and differentiate those things out, and it'll help our employees be able to multitask much better, and you get better utilization of our employees, because sometimes you guys have all seen it. One line's always longer than the other, and it's not always the same line. So. And also, we're looking at adding additional windows.
Is there a window that accommodates the wheelchairs?
Well, not now.
No.
We have to.
Just look at that.
It's not compliant, and we've kind of been talking about it since we got here. They're not compliant from the public standpoint, and they're not compliant from the employee standpoint either. But we've already talked to the architects. They're going to rip them out, and we're going to start over from scratch and get them that way.
That was one complaint that I got. So.
Oh yeah. I've been. Yeah, I've had a design in place for some time, but we actually had to stop it because of the ADA thing, because it had to go to the architects.
Several years ago, we put money aside to do that, and then ADA came along, and we said, well, we can't do it until we got the ILA and everybody involved. So.
Yeah, so we had actually had it budgeted 2 years ago. I had a design in place.
If I may, if a handicapped individual does come to a motor vehicle department, we let them in through the side door, every one of them, and they come in and have some privileges, and we do have a counter that's a little bit lower, but it's in the dealer section.
Good.
So they're handled, but it's still not compliant.
Well,
But it helps.
we
Yeah,
have
lot.
a huge report for everybody to look at next Wednesday.
I can't wait.
You just are really going to be excited.
I'm sure it's not going to be cheap.
It's going to be a very exciting meeting.
I can imagine.
What else you got?
That's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys have any questions about the increases. I think we've pretty much justified.
Yeah, we got it.
I don't want to blanket increase things. The only thing I would point out too is this Kansas State Bank contract for our equipment.
Yeah.
We really actually, if you so chose to do so, you could actually eliminate a little interest by just paying it off this year. We have $23,599 due. Is it this year? And then we have one more payment. So, and then we own that. Then we own that equipment outright. So, just food for thought. It's chunk change when you look at the size of the budget, but it's
Well, $23,000 goes a ways to buy an employee, and
Yeah.
and the interest is really chunk change.
that's what I'm talking about. The interest is chunk change.
Yeah.
So, but what we could do really on the employees, what I'd like to do is if we get the 3 employees, and then if we do find a suitable location to do a satellite office, I would move those 3 employees, and then we would just need to add one more if we opened a satellite office down the road for the supervisor position. But I really need those 3.
I guess one question, or I assume you're aware of, but of course your salary increases for your deputies. I believe that they're probably both in this realm this year where they're getting a continuous increase, and that's a 2.5% that they'll be getting along with the other employees. But I assume that this year is you want in addition to that.
I'm sorry, what?
This reclassification request, is that in addition to the 2.5%?
Yes, it is. And it's because the 2 people we have down there were senior clerk 2s prior, and they're doing
No, I'm talking about your chief deputy.
the chief deputy, yes. This has to do with, they're being subsidized out of the their salaries are being subsidized out of the VIT fund. And the VIT fund is almost completely used up. And so if we don't do that, then they both get a pay cut.
So, Kevin, on page 5 here about this reclassification, Is that one person you're reclassifying?
It's two.
It's two?
It's Velma, my chief deputy, and
So
Ralph
the number in
Benavides.
parentheses is what they're getting now, and you're proposing to go to the 65
That's correct.
with the reclassification and the 62.
That's correct.
So total additional, and same thing on the next page.
That's correct.
So this is not new employees,
No, they're not.
but the new employees you're asking for are the senior clerks,
That's correct.
page 5.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, yeah,
Page 5, three
yeah, page
times.
5.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions of Kevin, please? We appreciate your doing this, and you guys are doing a good job. Thank you for all you're doing.
I appreciate it.
It's I really, some people can't see this, but when people are backed up clear up to my office paying taxes, it's always very refreshing to look out there and see the tax assessor collector sitting at a desk outside talking to people. That goes a long way, Kevin, and thank you for doing
No,
that.
we're there to help and really try
No,
to
but
push.
you're
these folks
being
through.
out there, not only there to help, but to answer questions and all. It really makes a difference, and thank you for doing
It
that.
speeds our line along. So
does.
that's the reason why we're out there.
It does.
Anything we do to help.
Yep.
But and just in closing, we are generating these funds, and so we're operating in the black, and we still continue to. The request is 3.1 million, and we're generating 6.4. So,
Well, we appreciate that.
So-
How many total employees do you have, Kevin?
oh gosh, I want to say 63, 64, 67.
67 total employees.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. Come on up. Good to see you this morning. Thank you for being here. You come by yourself?
Yes, sir. The constable's at school, out of town, so
Okay,
I'm by myself.
good. Thank you. Thanks for
I've
being
got
here.
a request that the constable wants to reclassify one of our senior clerks. If I can distribute this?
Sure.
Please, come on up, please. Yeah, we're,
All right.
absolutely. Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much. How you feeling? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're precinct 5?
Yes, sir, precinct 5, Constable Frank Flores' office.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Well, I've been looking at the budget, and I see that we have two senior clerks, and I looked at precinct 1, precinct 2, and precinct 4. They all have secretary 2 for one of the positions there. And I see that we have even more staff members than the other places, and yet we haven't been able to reclassify our senior deputy, our senior clerk to secretary 2. So I would appreciate it if you take that into consideration, being that she's doing the job of a secretary, and have a list of the difference of job load that she's got to the other clerk in the sub-office, and I think she deserves it. She's doing a good job. We requested it twice, at least twice already, and it hasn't been approved, and we don't want to lose her. Because it's hard to train people all over again. And basically, that's all I got. I mean, I think that justifies the upgrade. And she needs it. We need to keep her there.
What's the age of your current vehicles over there? I noticed you have a request in for 3,
I didn't bring that information, so I was mainly
okay.
stuck on this.
So these would be replacement vehicles, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have
What,
scheduled,
I guess,
Steve. Yeah.
excuse me, Judge,
No, go ahead.
equipment and computers for you, 14,500 for each vehicle?
Excuse me?
You have equipment and computers for 3 interceptors, for 14,500 each. I'm not sure what you're asking for there.
Well, I'm not sure either. I don't have the paperwork with me here.
Can I ask a question? And I'm truly asking because I don't know. Is there a reason? Is it a bigger area? Is that why there's more employees in this precinct? Is that what it is? They cover more ground or something?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, when they were consolidated together with 6, there's a couple consolidations been out there.
But, I noticed on here that I guess you're asking for a Secretary 2. I think Constable 3 doesn't have a Secretary 2 and doesn't have a Sergeant. And you all have a Sergeant in here,
We had 2.
too?
Yes, sir.
I don't see him on here.
And if I could, Commissioner, in this, right now, the Constable Precinct 3 and 4, their staffing and size is smaller than the rest of them.
Oh, yeah,
So they don't have the sergeant. The sergeant was for the bigger staffs. It's been traditionally what it's been on that. So both 3 and 4 don't have a sergeant. And the second thing that's different is 3 and 4 is that their chief deputies
Going in
are
charge.
not paid at the same level as the chief deputies for 1, 2, and 5.
Why is that?
It's been basically from size of staff, And other than the wrong answer is it's always been that way, but that's the way it is.
And that's what I looked at my deal when I was going through this. And 4's got Secretary 2, and 3 don't have Secretary. 3 don't have Secretary 2. So, and there's both of them are small departments. So, I just think sometimes we need to make sure if everybody's going to have a Secretary 2, I think everybody should have one. And Sergeant, everybody, maybe not Sergeant, but you got the Deputy Chief, but I think they should be making the same kind of money as the other Deputy Chief. I mean, they're both responsible for the department when the constable's gone. So, it's just an incentive for people to stay on.
That's right. I agree.
Well, if you will, for 1, 2, and 5, they have total staff of one has 11, the other has 12, the other has 15, and then on precinct 3 they have a staff of 7, so that's a fair amount less than the other ones, and precinct 4 has 8, and so it's the number of people being supervised was part of the original, and so that was the reason for extra sergeant and the other staff.
Yeah, but we don't give a chance for them to grow, and I think I know, I just think everybody should have a Secretary too, whoever's taking care of the office. And maybe you don't have a senior clerk, but you may have a Secretary too would be somebody that takes care of the office for all of, even for 7 people. I mean, she's almost like a supervisor, I guess, and taking care of everything in the office. So I don't know, I think we need to be more, whatever it is here, I think that we try to bring it more equally as and maybe not a sergeant, but you got the chief deputy on those small ones, but the secretary, the senior clerk not going anywhere. She's never going to move up,
Okay.
Steve, I don't see a sheet on here that is asking for this reclassification. I guess I'm lost in all the pages here. Where is the sheet that explains? What the
The
cost?
reclassification is towards the back, Commissioner. I have it up on my screen here right now, and so it's,
What's the total cost of that?
the dollar amount for reclassification.
That's what I'm looking for.
It's page 5. They're all page 5, but it's page 5 back there where it's a senior clerk and secretary 2. It's about $4,000, maybe direct. I don't know if that includes benefits or not. But if it does not include benefits, you can add another 25%.
It's, Commissioner, I have it up on the screen right now, and that's.
There it is. Yeah.
Well, how come on here it says,
Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but on precinct 5, it says senior clerk makes $51,000. Is that a typo?
Typo.
Yeah.
I think it's a type,
Or am I am I like reading the lines wrong?
yeah, on the bottom, second to the bottom, on top of the sergeant.
On what, this one?
There are 2 of them.
I think that's for two.
That's
I
two.
don't have
okay.
that, so I don't know.
5 by 2.
Oh, my bad, okay.
I don't
Okay.
have two here.
sorry,
Yeah, see?
that's what that column above means is
I do not have that.
there's no top category, so that means that's
I'll
two.
leave it, so.
Yeah. There's 2 of those.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Those numbers across the.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, that makes more sense. Like, wow.
Yeah.
It would apply.
Okay. Any other questions while we're going here? Anything else? Appreciate your being here.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you bringing it in. We'll certainly take a look at this.
You're asking for
Appreciate that.
you're asking for the secretary too, right? The secretary too in your department?
Yes, sir, I am.
Just
Okay.
reclassify.
I really appreciate everything.
Hello, Mayor.
Thank you.
Did you bring us some money?
No, I'm coming to pick some up.
Oh, okay. Get in line. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Actually, there's a big meeting I wasn't aware of.
You're early and you're good. Being early is good. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you all doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. We're going to move right on to precinct 3 if you're ready. Good deal. Thank you.
Who's our last one?
Thank you.
Gentlemen, good morning,
Good morning.
and I'm glad to be here.
We're glad you're here.
But you are here.
Glad you're here. How you feeling?
100%.
100%.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that good?
Yes, sir. Gentlemen, I'm going to come to you just with a simple request. I'm only asking for a few minor items, minor increases, I should say. Let me get to the right page. Here we go. First of all, it's on line item 5240, which is maintenance and repair. Right now, the upkeep, most of our vehicles are, pretty much at the point of hitting 90,000 miles and above. We are due for one vehicle replacement, which is great. That's already been approved because we're one down due to just normal wear and tear. So, but the remaining fleet, instead of asking for an additional vehicle for this year, we're just asking for additional monies to keep our existing fleet moving, simply because of the mileage and wear and tear. Secondly is travel. On line item 5540, and that's just simply because many of the schools that our deputies are required to attend, sometimes Del Mar does not have those schools available. And when I say by required, these are schools that are required by the state, classes that they have to attend. Some may be as nearby as a nearby county like San Pat. San Pat's been very gracious to allow us to attend their schools to keep our deputies.
You said 100, Constable? Was that a typo? You mean to put maybe 1,000 or something? Or?
Oh,
500.
yeah.
Well, that line is just increased. That $100 is a dollar amount that he's asking for increase.
So it'll be 1,000.
Well, no, he's asking for $100 increase for a total of $1,100 for the,
Okay. That's how I figured it'd be, yeah.
is that correct, Constable?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's like I said, that's just to be able to send the deputies to their required training that they might need. And then third and finally is my secretary. My secretary's worked for this precinct for 12 years. This is my third term, and she's still at a senior clerk. And all other constables have their administrative assistants. Not only is it because she's been there for 12 years, but she does pretty much everything for my department. Does all the reports, does everything. One single person. Plus, she does stone garden, which is not part of her duties, but she does do them, and she does a great job. She is a phenomenal person, and as some of y'all know, because due to my circumstances, she has been able to basically help
So
me
you're asking
run.
for a secretary too?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I think here I have it as a, secretary too. Yes, sir. And that's it. I don't really have anything else.
Jimmy,
Just
I
for
want to
my
make sure
clar-
what you're asking for here. You're asking for one reclassification, but not another person. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
She does the work of two people.
Yeah, okay, so that request for
Yeah.
28,000 is not another person, it's a,
You have an extra sheet in your
Well,
got that
constable.
sheet.
It'll be
That was
30,000.
confusing.
yeah,
Right behind your,
right behind your reclass sheet.
Oh,
Yeah. It looked like you were saying, I want to reclass one, then add one.
no, sir.
No, okay, good. Okay,
You pull a one, you're gonna
I
pull
think
one.
I'll pull that out. Yeah.
So which one are you pulling out, though?
The new one, the 28,433 is not an additional person.
Oh, okay,
It's
gotcha.
just a- Questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
And I'll entertain any questions at this time.
Well, I'm glad to see you doing better. You look a whole lot better, and thank you.
I'm a former Marine, so I don't know the word quit. I don't know the word quit.
You don't. I mean,
He's a fighter, let me tell you.
you just look so much better than,
He's a fighter, he's a fighter.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for all your hard work over there, too.
Yes, sir.
So, Jim, so just to make this clear, we're looking for $1,100 for the travel
Yeah.
and the upgrade,
Reclass.
the reclassification
That's correct,
for
sir.
secretary too, right?
Yeah.
That's correct, sir.
and a little increase in maintenance and repair.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
And that's just to keep our current fleet
Going.
going.
How y'all doing with Stonegate? Y'all doing okay?
Well, we haven't been given the go-ahead to start the new grant. So the
how
guys
long
are waiting.
How long have you waiting?
Since the 8th.
They just got the money.
If we don't get it by the end of the month, let us know. We need to get that going.
Yeah, the guys, they do a great job. We have been very fortunate that we've been able to seize monies and vehicles because of it, through illegal,
You know, do a good job in impounding and confiscation and all that. Really appreciate what, you guys working out there at nighttime doing it, so
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. Good.
Excuse me. Good deal.
Thank you, sir.
Jimmy, thanks, and
Thank you.
we really, good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
No, we've talked to the JP's office some time ago, and they know they're supposed to be here earlier, but
Okay, well, that'd be good. Okay, are you here to speak for the judge? You're a placeholder? Okay. Okay, thank you.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Go get checked. Go get checked.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, me too, man. So, man, we're really running ahead, aren't we?
Yeah, we're doing good, doing well.
Why is the mayor and the congressman people here? Where are they going?
You're having a meeting with Commissioner Pusley on wind farms.
I'm gonna try to convince him, right?
something else we can't do anything about.
That's right. I tried. Well, I tried.
You're saying that the county was going to appeal.
glad to have you and welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
May I proceed?
Please do, please.
Judge, thank you for the audience, you and the commissioner, and the rest of the staff that was here. Thank you for giving us time. Mayor, thank you for indulging me a little early. I had got up at 6:30 this morning to be here from San Antonio to make class today, but I got colleagues up there, Judge Benavides and Judge Lawrence are up there and taking a look at the truancy. So we had today, truancy court today. But today, judges, I'm here to request a reclassification of 18 of the court clerks at the JP level from 13 to 16 pay groups. And they should keep, and hopefully, keep their step pay. This would increase the total amount of the budget for the JP department, or total for all the JPs, to $68,882.85. If you can look at, you'll see the attachment number 1, and you will see that all the 9 JP courts are there. Currently, you'll see what the current period, the current salary on those clerks are. Currently, the projected, the current pay scale is there. As you can see, the projected with the increase of it would be total amount of increase per court. Each clerk, as you can see, every court has different clerks on it. Some have 3, some have 2, some have 1. Total amount of clerks that would be impacted would be 18 clerks, Judge, and commissioners. The figures of attachment 2 show as straightly directly from the pay scale from the budget book that we had from 1516 as per court, directly the items that it is that we took those numbers from, that you will see that says current pay scale at this point in time, Judge.
Am I looking at this right here on attachment 1?
Yes, sir.
So you're saying on the increase, as you go down the increase, this is going to be per clerk, per judge?
Well, that would be per office, Judge. That would be the 3 clerks would total $11,662 for all 3 clerks. That would be the increase of salary for that total office, Judge. For the 3 clerks in that office, 1, 2 would have 3 clerks. That would be that amount of increase, because some of them are at different steps, Judge and commissioners. 1, 3 has 2 clerks, etc.
So roughly between 2,000 and 3,000 per clerk.
Yes, sir.
I will add, you're going to have about a $14,000 additional for benefits.
Plus 14,000
Yeah.
benefit?
This is just a straight salary. This is salary.
But the benefits go up and the salary goes up?
It goes up with your retirement. We have to pay retirement. We have to pay up the payroll taxes and all that. Now, the health benefits is the only thing that doesn't change with this, but roughly
About 20%.
Yeah.
So this number is just salary.
Correct. This number
Just
is
salary,
just
Judge. Yes, sir. Doesn't include your increase in salary, because you have to pay more withholding and more other taxes that you have to. Probably is about 14.5 is what we normally do in private business.
We're talking about 82,000 really, 83,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the 9 Justices of Peace judges have grossed last year in the calendar year of January 15 to 25. And I'll remind you that we've had this border security, so we've had a reduced number of tickets, not just in our county, but across the state of Texas. I can tell you my court specifically, just in the calendar year from the previous year, we've dropped $100,000 in revenue, just in citations that were not issued by DPS because of this border security that the DPS and governor has impacted. And that is something we're looking to address. Hopefully, we'll talk to Governor Abbott when it comes into session previous to that, maybe by just instituting the whole state, but that's a different topic. The 9 Justices of Peace have grossed 2.739.346 from January to 2/15, as per the OCA reports in 2015, and that would be the calendar year, Judge and Commissioners. The revenue for the general ledger for Nueces County is 1.811.704, and that's what goes into general revenue from the JPs in calendar year 2015. That does not include the juvenile case manager fee. That does not include the $8 from the juvenile case manager. Does not include the technology fee of $4 and what other fees, the security fee also. And that you'll see in attachment number 3.
I have a question, Judge.
Yes, sir.
And it says, piece off on the 2 million or 739,300. That's for all the JPs together?
Yes, sir, that was the revenue for JPs that came into the county.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And then can I, and I'm sorry, you may be doing this is the revenue total.
Is your mic on, Commissioner?
Thought I hit it, sorry.
This is the total revenue projected for all the JP courts, right?
Well, no, sir, that was the past revenue from 2015, sir.
Okay, so when it says projected, that's 15 projected? Is that what you're saying?
That was the past year 2015, sir. That was the amount that the JPs, oh, I'm sorry, that's the cost.
No, I'm just,
That is a projected cost. You're still looking at attachment 1, am I correct, Commissioner?
annual cost, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the increase, and so where, I'm sorry,
I'm in attachment number 3, Commissioner.
I apologize. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So annual revenue to general ledger is 1.8 million of all the JP courts.
Yes, sir. And that doesn't include the $8 from the juvenile case manager, the $4 from the technology fund, and also the security fund also. That is not included in that revenue for the county. That is, 1.8 is for the county.
And that's the net
That's the net that goes to,
after expenses of running the courts? No?
I have no idea. That would be beyond
Austin,
Mr. Waterman.
Sorry.
No,
Help me
I mean,
out.
that's just a revenue. It's not, doesn't have no cost against it, though.
What is, okay, so annual gross for the calendar year, 2.7, and then annual revenue going to the general ledger, 1.8. I don't know what that means, I'm sorry.
I think as he said, the fees that he has for technology, that goes in the special revenue account specifically to use for equipment. Dale, what other
Case managers?
special
Case
revenue, the
manager
case
fees.
manager. So there's some fees that don't go to the general fund, they go to a special
Security
revenue
fees.
fund.
Okay, so my question is, and you may have answered this, and I'm sorry, but if there's X amount of revenue, what is the total expense for running the JP courts?
Well,
We have
Budget.
I don't have that in front of me right now, but for JP 5-1, it's $258,000 for his court.
Okay.
And so if we go through all the courts,
Yeah, what I'd like to know is, because he's making a revenue argument, and I appreciate that, and it's a valid argument, I just want to be able to know what it's costing us to run the courts versus what the revenue is.
Also, 9 budgets, I guess,
Yeah,
put
it's
them
all,
together.
you're talking about,
Right.
yeah, you're talking.
Well, that's what I'd like, that, not right this minute, but I'd like to know that based on, since he's making a revenue point, which is a good point, I just would like to know how much it costs to run the JP courts and how much revenue is generated, just to know. So, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, sir. We keep asking more and more of our court clerks, reference computer literacy, updating themselves with the laws and statutes, dealing with the public, our offices, departments around the county, and this is why we believe that our county, our clerks should deserve this this pay grade increase, reclassification to 16. They are also being required to be certified, even though we give them no stipend for being certified, whether it be in civil or criminal, or even become master clerks. We give them no additional stipend for this. So as we increase in skills and required for our clerks, it's difficult to maintain good qualified people unless they really have their heart set into doing what their job is. This raise would put our county at the median income for the clerks in Laredo area, which is still considered to be one of the lowest pay scales in Texas. This scale of 13 to 16 is a 15% increase that we're asking. This is also the same pay scale that Nueces County clerks for the county courts are currently making, and you'll see attachment number 4. That is the job description for the assistant county clerks. And that currently pay scale is $13.67 per hour. The job description for JP clerk and county clerk assistant, county court assistant clerk, reference qualifications, certifications, license and registrations are about the same. The experience difference is the only thing. JPs require a 1-year clerical experience versus county clerk assistant clerks who require a 3-year clerical.
So the comparison here would be a 13 to a 16?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is the.
This is the county clerks, and this is the JP clerk.
That would be the assistant county clerks, Commissioner.
So a pay group 16 is $13.67.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Sorry.
Yes, sir. And a 13-1, which they're at this point in time, is 1188. And our staff does handle money, does handle EPOs, protective orders, even coming in on weekends to do warrants and magistrations that we have to do for other agencies.
Your backup is here, Judge Stoner. Good morning, Judge.
And we realize that our clerks throughout the years of service have become more valuable to the court. They work in the county, they live in the county, and they serve our community and our people. Our clerks go to training usually once a year and the legislative updates and every other year. The experiences they get during the daily operations of Justice of the Peace Office are invaluable. We want to keep them. The clerks that leave our office go for better paying jobs. We believe we need to make this investment to our clerks to keep our experienced clerks. This is why we're currently requesting this reclassification from a 13 to a 16. Judge, Commissioners.
Okay, Bobby, anybody have any other questions of the judge? That's your only request, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Judge Stoner, welcome. Oh, we're now being overwhelmed by judges. Good morning, Judge. How are you this morning? Glad to see you all this morning. Thank you for being here.
And we thank you. The last time we came, Judge, was 5 years ago when we requested a reclassification from our administrative assistant, from our senior clerks to our administrative assistant. We were here 5 years ago to make them stability and make sure that we develop the professionalism in our JP courts as well as the professionalism that exists outside the court and inside the court. So we can have skilled people to do everything from the criminal to civil that we're expected by the state, the Justice Training Center, as well as the Ethics Committee, the Texas Supreme Court. So we're asking this court to indulge
All
us.
you clerks 13? All the clerks are 13?
13, yes, sir. Except the administrative assistants, those are 19s.
19?
19s, yes, sir. Just the administrative assistants are 19s.
So you're not touching the 19 here?
No, sir. No. We're asking just so that we can keep our staff, because as you can see, most judges have lost a lot of their senior staffs. We have a lot of, out of the 18 clerks that we have, 15 of those are 13-1s, 13-2s. We only have 3 13-5s, I think. That's all we have. I have 2 of those that have been with me 16 years, Judge and Commissioners. And I think Judge Rodriguez has 1 that's also been there. And there's another one, Judge Valderas has 1.
Your senior clerks are happy, I guess, with the 19. I guess that's okay.
Yes, sir. They are awfully happy. Yes, sir. So we appreciate Commissioners Court. And that was 5 years ago, Judge. So we don't come to ask too much of you. We just believe that in keeping good staff, keeps morale, keeps the revenue going, keeps revenue coming to our staff, and make sure that they're knowledgeable and they're motivated to keep their jobs and stay on their jobs. They're not looking for other directions. I know that when we had the oil field, we had some that were fishing that were looking to say, hey, man, that oil field's paying me $15 an hour and I'm ready to jump ship. And I said, well, think of the benefits the county gives you. So that's the longevity of what they're looking at.
We might be there too pretty soon, $15 an hour.
Any questions, Commissioner?
Any questions for the judge? Either one of our visitors back there care to comment? We'd love to hear from you if you'd like to. Don't have to.
I can add only some stuff not pertaining to what the judge was talking on our behalf, but I got little things I want to just add.
Come on up, Judge. Both of you, any of you.
The only thing I'm going to remind the judges is, I know that there's other issues. We're here too, but just to remind you that we got a notice from the collections that the OPC was no longer going to be valid, to terminate it immediately, just to make the judge and commissioners aware that those are in our courtesy letters that we give to all the officers. I have 26 officers who serve just my court, and apart from the other judges who have officers that work, it would be extremely difficult for us to recall those notes, to call those courtesy letters when they give a citation for any offense. So we're asking at least to keep it at least till October, so we can start putting the new letters of the web page for August, and then when we get ready to have the new election of judges in November, then we'll print out the new ones with the web page also, but also the names of the new judges, whomever may take position in November, Judge.
Where does that letter come from? I'm not familiar with that.
Well, it has to do with the credit card system and Odyssey. They're working on that, and it's really a Mike Biddle. So it's a question we have to have.
But you don't have you don't have a lot of those. You just started
What's that, sir?
the OPC card, whatever, do you use the cards?
Well, sir, what that is it's a code that people call in and they're going to pay by credit card or by check or a debit card. And instead of coming to the office, they're calling for a citation if they're on the thoroughfare. And so they'll call and says, the OPC identifies the specific court that citation, that money regards to. So when the client picks up pays the citation, we give them that OPC code, and that goes directly to that judge's account, and then we just run the daily report on it. So without being done in those courtesy letters, people won't know where to go at this point in time, because that's the only venue we have on the courtesy letters till we change them in August, as I spoke to Mr. Waterman, and we will start changing those for August, so that way by by October, when the OPC contract expires, that'll no longer be part of the courtesy letter, and then by the time we have the new judges again in January, and the elections in November, we should know who the new judges are. We'll make new courtesy letters at that point in time for that.
Thanks, Judge.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
very
Thank you,
much.
gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know, I didn't mean to interrupt the presiding judge.
Oh, that's
but
fine.
It's just a little, I apologize for being late. I had some attorneys, I had a case, and they weren't too happy, but I said, hey, I had to be here. Sorry, so they can wait.
Right?
Or they can come back
In
later.
charge, right?
That's it. I said they can wait or can reset. I'm here on security purposes in my building. What I call it might be in our building. And you know, recently, when a couple of months ago, we had a burglary in there. Well, last year we had a burglary. They broke into the safe, and they were convenient. They rolled it over or flipped it over to my chambers. So they had a little bit more time, I guess, to work on it. And they opened the safe. And we have video, but it ain't working at all, period. And I know we spent some money on that video. And we even called those people to come and help us try to capture back some of that video that was broken into. Edward was there. We couldn't get nothing. All we can get was just voices. We could see the shadows, but it's a shame. And there was other buildings that were broken into. But I'm asking, I submitted it in for maybe some cameras and video and stuff like that, if we can look into it, because those cameras I got there, they're worthless. They're just taking space, realistically. That's all they're doing. And we paid quite a bit of money on that. And it's a shame when that company, you call them up, they can't even come back and try to get some of that stuff back. He says, y'all need to figure it out. It's a shame. We paid all this money, and that company wouldn't even come out, and help us out and see if we can retrieve some of that stuff. But this basically, and some of the stuff, it's real important. Some of the JPs have constables in their office. We don't have no constables. They just come pick up some stuff, what we need to serve. They're here at the courthouse, and I think Judge Stone is also the other judge that doesn't have no law enforcement in the building. And I think that's the only two judges, right? And Milo are the only three judges that don't have, but they work out of they work out of Bobby's, and they work out of the courthouse and stuff, and they just come and pick up some our papers that needs to be served. And I understand they're real busy. They don't have time to come out there. And PD, I found a homeless guy laying down in front of my door in my chambers 2 weeks ago. I just happened to go over there on the weekend, and there was laying down. I called city. Well, the city was closer. They came by. They told me, he said, Judge, I'll go ahead and run them off and tell them they not to show up again. But they can't even give them a criminal trespassing no more, according to their supervisor or their policy. Before, they used to give them, say, a trespassing warning. City, county buildings, they're open to the public. They can't do that no more. So the guy can lay out there and they can't arrest him. They can run him off, but he can get right back, you see. So it's something that I really look into it and see if we can get some kind of security up there.
Very good. Thank you, Judge. Thank you very much. I was looking for some cost.
Is a $3,100 cost, is that what your estimate, or is that,
I think that's what it was. We called
I mean, that's something we could do right now, Judge, and
Do what?
it's something that we don't have to wait until next fiscal year to do.
Well, I noticed Judge Stoner's here, and she also has a request in for some cameras and some things, so. We're very aware of security needs. Judge Stoner, would you care to make any comments, ma'am, or no? You're welcome to comment if you'd like.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Well, this will probably be the last budget hearing I come to, and I appreciate
Come on, you know you're going to want to come back
Come
and
back
see
next
us.
year if you'd
Well,
like.
maybe I'll just come visit sometime. Yeah. Basically, there is definitely need for cameras in my office. I pretty much, we laid it out in the budget request. I would like to second what Judge Gonzalez has brought forward to y'all on behalf of all the JPs. I'm in my 32nd year of county government at this time. And ever since it began when I was a chief clerk for Cox, I noticed there was very much of a discrepancy compared to other departments in other counties for these clerks. And as a clerk previously, I can tell you that every 2 years you're starting all over, you're learning new laws, and you don't just deal with the people at the counter. Some departments just deal with people at the counters. We deal with the attorneys on the telephone. We deal with the defendants on the telephone for hearings where in these other departments, they may not even talk to them. The court coordinator for the county judge or the district judge is the only person that talks to them. So in the meantime, these clerks are waiting the counter, doing monthly reports, dealing with the attorneys, and sometimes having to come into court with me. Now, in the 16 years I've been in office, I've never had a clerk go into court with me because I realize that there's far too much work out there and that I can take care of what I've got to do in the courtroom myself. So personally myself, I haven't needed a clerk in the courtroom. Other judges may have. But I just want to second the request for these clerks. And I feel like y'all were very fair, and 5 years ago, we worked 6 years to get our administrative assistants reclassified, 6 years in a row. Every year, I worked it up, we came back. I understand you have to consider the county's finances, that's number one priority, but I think the turnover could hurt us more than the keeping them there, because with time comes experience, and with experience in the judge's office comes knowledge, and there has to be a lot of knowledge about the law. They're not lawyers, but half the time they feel like they have to be. And Judge Gonzalez can relate to that. He knows how that goes. Thank you very much for your time.
Judge, thank you for the time you've spent as a county employee and as a outstanding jurist over there, and we're going to miss you, and I hope you enjoy your retirement, but we're sure sorry to see you go, but we really appreciate your service.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you,
Judge
Judge.
Stoner, thank you.
I'm sure it's been 16 years.
I think that look says yes.
She's not counting, but she's sure.
And Judge, I will tell you, I had the honor as the presiding judge of County Court Law Number 5 to be able to work with most or all of the current JPs, and because that court, as you know, hears all the appeals from the JP courts, and I can tell you they have great staffs and they all do great jobs, and I really appreciate all the work that your staffs do and that you guys do. Y'all have really, I felt like sometimes I was the people's court, but you guys were truly the people's court, and we appreciate all that you do, so thank you very much.
Judge Santana, good morning.
Good morning. First, I'll start with an apology. I was in
No,
court.
you're fine. We started a little early, and we were just moving along, so
Very good. Thank
glad
you.
to have you this morning.
Just want to say good morning, that all is well in JP 1-2. We are a very busy court, but I would just want to reiterate something that Judge Stone, by the way, I'm not retiring yet, so.
Thank you for your service
I'm
anyway.
young.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate you, Judge.
Judge and I are on the same schedule.
Yes,
so-
we are.
But he can tell you it's 2 years, 6 months, and 42 days.
There you go. I wanted just to reiterate something that Judge Stoner shared with you just to support that. Our staff are people that just have to know a lot. And when you lose one, and I lost two, within a matter of 2 weeks, I had to get them replaced with other people who had no knowledge. And to retrain them takes not weeks, but months. And then it becomes the dilemma of doing the job, which is very busy here, and training at the same time. It's difficult, so what we'd like to do is keep our staff as long as we can. The two that I lost went for better pay, and you don't want to hold anybody back for that. So just consider what was shared with you this morning as something that we would certainly like to see in the future, that our staff be with us for longer periods of time. And just reiterate again that JP12 is doing well, busy, but just one little side remark, if you can give me 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
I asked my good friend, Commissioner Jag, to share with me a report that was made by the Truancy Committee. And he did. He sent me a copy of it, and I appreciate that, Judge. I read it, and gentlemen, just me, I was truly disappointed in that report. Here was a large group of people that met for 5 times to come up with a 2.5-page report. Does not say too much about what was said in that report. But I would hope that in the future, Commissioner, that other things could be considered, certainly the law itself and things that might have been included in that report. Just a side remark. Thank you, and I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Let
Thank
me,
you, sir.
Let me just say a few things. Then they all spoke already. Really, I've been there where you've been. You know that, and I really appreciate the work that. And I've always said JP courts are the only courts that I know of that handles 10 different things. Other courts handles one certain thing. County court law is county court of law. District courts are district courts, and no matter how much of a fine those other courts put into a defendant, most of the time we're not going to get it. The JP courts have a big collection, and you guys have done a great job of working with Lineberger also on collections and fees and fines and everything else. But and you're right about the clerks, and when you lose one, you almost like losing two, because now somebody else has got to train that clerk for another 5-6 months. And you lose them because of the pay, there's no doubt about that. They go somewhere else, even if it's for $2,000-3,000 more, they go somewhere else. So, I sympathize with you on that, yeah, our clerks are very important for the JPs, and you're right, they talk to attorneys on the phone, they talk to attorneys at the window, they talk to attorneys that more than what they should, but they do, and not only that, but then they got to learn how to handle civil cases and how to do the forms and the filing, Army base and everything else that goes along with it, and people don't even know that there's a list of probably 15 things. So, I've always believed that the clerks at the JP office should probably be in the same level as any other clerk should be. So, I support what you're bringing today, and the clerks, and so hopefully we can look at it real seriously and say, we need to be there. I just think that, but again, I commend you guys for, for hanging in there, and handling the truancies and, pushing on the truancies. I know that itself takes a lot of time and a lot of paperwork, twice the paperwork. So, but I appreciate what you're doing. I want to know that, thank you staff for what they're doing, and hopefully that we can come up with something this year that we're going to take care of them like we took care of you guys, the senior clerks, and hopefully we can, I think, but you got my support on it, I can tell you that much. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Well, excuse me, I got so wrapped up in what I was supposed to do. I am asking for something personal for my court. Thank you for building my courtroom. I really appreciate it. It is a gorgeous courtroom that I have. It's really professional, and it sends the ambiance of what a courtroom should be. But I am looking to hopefully still get my TVs for my jury room and my courtroom. I still have not received those, and hopefully we can get those
Is
together.
that request in here?
Dr. Steve?
Yes. Yeah, we sent it to Elsa, and we talked to Steve, but we're still looking for it, so just to,
You saying you have a purchase order put in?
yes, sir, we've put one every year with Elsa, and he says, where's the funds coming from? I says, I don't know, ask Mr. Waterman.
No, my question is the purchase order, I mean, you put it in your budget request here, but, to get the equipment itself, you need to
Submit
do
it.
a purchase order.
I guess we haven't done that, so we should address that.
If you haven't submit it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we have lots of requests here, we don't automatically do your purchase orders, I mean,
Yeah.
the departments have to do
Yeah.
it.
Yes, sir. Well, we don't ask a lot, just usually when it's
Well,
necessity.
send it in and
We will
we'll
attempt.
try to find some money.
And the other guys, just to, hopefully, security is a big issue now, and it's getting worse. So I understand where you guys are coming from, and I've always said that the JPs are the last on the fire line, but some of us are the first in the fire line because we're isolated and we're downstairs on the first floor. So, I think that your request for security is valid, and I think it's very important that we look into it very seriously.
And the TVs are needed, gentlemen, because I run 2 jury trials every month and at least 7 bench trials,
Yeah.
twice a month every morning. They're all citations, so we
Well,
need
send
those.
us a purchase
Yes, sir.
order.
We'll get that done.
Yeah. We'll see if Walmart's got any on sale.
If not, I'll buy them and I'll send you the bill, Judge.
Okay, Mark.
Kmart, Walmart.
Hey, you got a B card, man. See you later.
We appreciate all of what you do, all the JPs. We know life can be hard sometimes, and you do a great job sometimes with not enough money and not enough people, but you've been very understanding to work with the court, and we appreciate that. And we'll help you where we can. We've always tried to do that, and we'll do that. Hello, Judge.
Hello, sorry I had to reach.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're just right on time. Do you have anything you'd like to address us about?
No, just the same thing that Judge Gonzalez was saying.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah.
it's been sorry,
Careful your purse now.
on TV. Just the same thing. I mean, me coming from being a clerk to a judge, and girls work very hard all the time, and luckily we've got Judge Jag there to represent us, even though he might not be doing it technically on paper. But we've been trying to do this for quite some time now, and it did take a while. We got our senior clerks, and now we're hoping that we can get our clerks. Most of our clerks, if Judge Gonzalez hasn't already, or the other judges haven't made a point to say, is that most of our clerks are state certified. We've got some that are even master certified, and other counties do give additional pay for being certified with the state of Texas. So that's pretty much what I'd like to say at this point in time.
Well, we appreciate what you're doing out there, and also your being here, and all of you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Can we expect any other judges today, or you think this is it?
Yeah, this
It's it? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Thank you,
for
Judge.
attending the
Thank you,
meeting.
Judge. Thank you for being here.
Judge Rodriguez, thank you for attending the meetings. I appreciate you being at the meetings.
I talked to the prosecutor yesterday, the DA Skorka, and I don't know, he said he approached you also about the truancy cases.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
As the judges, we got this deal, we had to go through the prosecutor to hear the complaints and all that stuff, and sometimes it takes time. So I support that prosecutor. If he's going to be using strictly for the JPs, I'm all for it, you know.
You need two.
Well, yes, realistically, yeah.
Sorry, Judge, but
I did tell Skorka two. You actually need two. He said, yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to give me two. But I said one, and it says, but Skorka, I think he requested one. I don't
got
know.
one already. We need one more.
Yeah, and I said, we need it, because these cases, they go strictly to them when it's filed, and then we got to wait. Is that right? We got to wait on them? Yes, go ahead, Stone.
Yeah, we're working on that, Judge, believe me.
But what they do is, in the past, the school would bring the complaint directly.
Judge, I'm sorry. Can you come to the mic, please, ma'am?
You stay
Go ahead.
there. I'm not taking
It's okay.
over.
Go ahead.
No, in the past, the schools would just directly bring the complaints and the probable cause to our office, and we could get right on it. and get into court a lot faster to resolve the cases. And now, with the new law, and the truancies have become civil matters, which my opinion is it's not going to work, but that's beside the point. They take it, like he said, to the DAs first, and they go over it to make sure everything's in order. And then we get it. But they have 45 days to look at these cases before we get them. And then it takes
By
us...
then, school's out.
And then it takes another 15 to 30 days
Yeah.
for us to get it in the courtroom. So if they did have, I'm with him, if they did have the help, even if they're only going to give him one, that's one more spending full time, because what they're doing, they're prosecuting our court, and then they're also, when they're back at the office, they're going through truancy complaints.
Yeah.
So it would be, it might speed things up as far as the truancy issue goes.
I think a number of us were not in favor of that law change.
Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All of us were against it.
Well,
Senator Whitmire and his.
we wrote a letter opposing it from the court, and it's just a bad, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, it's a bad law.
And I've heard a lot of cases this year. I've heard probably, I have 3 high schools. I have King Veterans and Flower Bluff, and just Flower Bluff alone has filed good 500 just with them by themselves. And then
500?
Yeah. I've heard probably close to 900 cases, just me. And it's hard, but what I've done as my clerk, that's what I keep saying over and over, that truancy is not something that most people don't realize that it's
Epidemic.
It's an epidemic.
And what now does the law provide that you can even do to these kids?
Not much.
Not much.
So why even have them?
I don't know. We have spoken to
I know, I'm just being...
Representative Abel Herrero, and we're supposed to be meeting with Todd Hunter also to try to see if we can meet as a group and try to take it back to the legislators and try to get some things changed. Before we could slap them on the hand, now we can't even do that.
It's terrible.
What are you gonna do with fining them for $100?
Fine, that's fine. Now it's 100.
Do anything, fine them contempt for nothing.
Fine them $100, and it costs $500 to get them to the $100 fine.
Even the parents, $100.
I just.
$50 court costs, and then a fine of $100, up to $100 if they're in contempt.
And then hug them at the end, will you? Yeah. Would you give them a big hug at the end too? So when because that's what the law is going to say next time. And then you got to hug them.
To do that, but it's ridiculous. It really is.
I think this completes our morning. We've gotten a little beyond the scope of the budget here, but we do appreciate your coming in. We appreciate your hard work. All I can tell you is we'll look at it. Okay. Thank you. Okay, tomorrow we start at 8:30. Thanks, Bobby.
Good to see you, Judge.
Tomorrow.